Welcome back, and let's get straight into the big story. We might not have time to look at the tweets, but if there is, after this, we might be looking at those major scenes making the rounds on social media, Twitter to be precise. Joining us this morning, after a very long time, I don't think he has been on this new set right here, talking about Felix Akpos. He is a life coach, of course, an entrepreneur also, and we'll be talking about that salient issue. Good to have you here, Akpos. Yes, and Happy New Year.
Good morning. It's always good to be here.
All right, and comrade Dennis joins us again right here, perhaps giving us a perspective from his point of view as regards starting and, of course, maintaining a business after the COVID-19 era. Good to have you here also.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
All right, let's start off with Akpos. You're the life coach. You are the one who is an entrepreneur here, and probably he is also, I think so. But then let's also get to your thoughts. How has this period affected businesses globally, and what needs to be done to probably strike and bring the balance to the way we do things right now, business-wise?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I want to say that it's really a big blow globally, due to this current pandemic. And I want to say that irrespective of that, the best is yet to happen, And I'm just saying that because I really want everybody out there to be optimistic about everything that's currently happening. And I know that there are still bigger and good things that will still be able to happen for everyone as a business person or as a career person, even in 2020, as we're winding down for the year. Okay. Now,
that's consoling, I must say. That's consoling.
There are some major factors and current things that I want everyone out there to be, to be abreast with. And that's one thing we need to understand about. You need to understand that everything that you need to succeed lies within and around you.
Regardless of the times we find ourselves.
Exactly. Right? It's not how much of what you know, that counts, but what you have done and what you keep doing with what you know. I know this present pandemic has actually opened our eyes to some of the realities of things that lies around us, which we feel, has no value towards contributing to our business or personal development and all that. But the pandemic has brought the reality to each and every one of us. And I think it's our time for us, even for those people that are still not believing that there is anything like COVID-19, they should be able to embrace it and make sure that they're able to embrace the current trend of change of things so that they can upgrade, themselves. Now, three major facts that the present pandemic has actually brought to our reality globally is that, one, it has entirely changed the narrative of everything. It has shifted the stethoscope, from what it used to be, to what it currently is now. We are not trying to accept what would regard to be the new normal, and the high time you embrace it as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as an organization, as a government, the better for you. And secondly, another thing it has brought to our faces, it has actually taught individuals, organizations, and also others how to be able to do three major things: how to have a plan B, how to save, and also how to distribute what you do into different portfolios. Because currently, if you look at the global trend of things, you would understand that if you're somebody that is doing just only one major thing right now, and maybe the pandemic has actually affected your clients and all that, your business might be stagnant.
You struggle.
For example, taking a look of people that are into the aviation industry, for example, the flights have been off, the air for a long period
Huge
of
losses,
time.
yes.
I know a friend of mine who is into travel agency. His business has been put on a halt for months, since March up till now. So if he actually had that idea of saying, okay, let me distribute what I do into different portfolios, he wouldn't have found himself in this, kind of predicament, stuff like that. And, from there we could take it up.
All right. Dennis, in recent times I've seen you visit farms, although most of them are not yours. Visit farms, perhaps taking a chronology of what's playing out, analysis of what's playing out. I've seen you in some cucumber farms, some persons having bumper harvests in this period. Would you say that the pandemic did not affect those persons because of a particular thing they did coming true?
You see, like he rightly said, there are people who know the truth, but they don't take actions about what they really know. So it's not about the truth you know, it is what you do with the truth that sets you free. And if you notice someone like this man, that's Amazon. Amazon was able to survive the dot-com bust because he anticipated the decline in that sector, and so he worked ahead of time. And so there are people who have actually seen ahead of time that what if, because you have to anticipate crisis. Nobody pray for crisis, but they do happen.
As a businessman, you have to, right?
They do happen, and that's the risk of entrepreneur. And so those who are actually succeeding in this era, they are due to different factors. One of it is that they are into multiple streams of income. You were talking about me being in Kunkuba Farm. Of course, it's owned by my father and mentor, talking about the person of Dr. Shasapoke. What he's known for is speaking engagement. He goes about speaking in different functions. But now, during this pandemic, it's not really working, and his land is there. That land is actually for a polytechnic, it's for an institution. So he said, why leave that place fallow when I am locked up here? So instead of me doing nothing, let me go into Cucumber Farm, because it's something that can actually, you can harvest in just, I think it's about 1 month or 2 months, the life cycle there. And that was how he went into it. And he started Farm Fellowship, encouraging people to look at this pandemic in a different way. And then, of course, I also have my own mini poultry, because I'm also learning from him. So these are the things that some persons are putting in place to really get ahead in this period.
Perfect. Let's come back to you right now. It will interest a whole lot of persons to understand that some business, like you said right now, would not thrive until perhaps the post-COVID era. What kind of businesses can some persons listening to us right now actually want to put themselves into and say, okay, perhaps I might actually start making ends meet when I do this?
Okay, now, one thing you need to understand about entrepreneurship is that it's something I'm very passionate about, right? From like day one I was giving birth to, if anybody ever heard my thoughts. One thing you need to be passionate about entrepreneurship and business. Understand that business is about making money. You know, it's about what you're passionate about in solving problems for people. Then you get reward for solving that problem. That's it. Now, if you understand during the lockdown and immediately after the lockdown, you know, even before, a lot of people were actually diving into making sanitizers, even if they are fake or not. They were just, you know, out there. We do printing and branding, so they do bring a lot of stuff into our office for us to print and brand. And one thing I always tell them is, when you finish selling this sanitizer and making a few bucks, what next? You should understand that business is about continuity. It's not about, there's a difference between a business owner and a hustler. You are not a hustler. You should be able to differentiate a businessman from an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is the one that does the business to satisfy his customers and ensure that they get value for what they do. And then the businessman is the one that actually provides goods and services to his customers. Whether they are satisfied or not is not his business, provided he makes his money. So you should be able to understand that you can't be an entrepreneur without being a businessman, but you can be a businessman without being an entrepreneur.
Interesting.
It's something that you really need to be able to cut a thin line between these two facts. So one major thing that you need to be able to do in order for you to start a business is that look into genuine challenges that people are currently facing. When I say there are lots of challenges, but there are some that are genuine, that will have continuity, that even after this post-COVID era and every other thing, you still be able to provide such kind of services, you know, to these customers and people. And one of such is that during this period, we've actually experienced a very huge, you know, jack up in food production and then food sales. Everybody wants to be able to work out to make sure they get food in their stomach or in their table, first of all, before every other thing comes in. One thing I also want to encourage every entrepreneur to do in order for you to start a business currently, one thing you should focus more on needs than wants.
Okay.
Our father, Dr. Akpos, like he said, he is also my father. You know, he's somebody that looks out for something that would impact the life of people. First of all, the impact is what he goes for, and the reward comes afterwards. So sometimes, if people don't always want to look at the needs being a basics for starting their business, they are looking for wants. Wants are optional. People could go for wants. They can decide, I can do without a mobile phone. Do you get me now? I can do without a mobile phone, and my business will still thrive, depending on what it is that I do. Do you get? But at the end of the day, you must understand that even if that particular mobile phone is still very important, you can still be able to do your business even without it within your local terrain. But if you want to go global, then you know it's a necessity. So what it is that people really need, that they can't do without, focus on those needs. Learn to be able to checkmate any idea you have. Checkmate it very well. And know that you're not starting this thing just for the aim of making money for just this period. So what happens after this period? So like I said, food is one. Number two, going for relevant knowledge as it has to do with digital marketing for brands. That you can even work from your home. You can have a lot of brands, like we have a lot of brands that we do branding from in the UK and in the US. Right now, those platforms activated during this COVID-19 period. So even people were on the lockdown at home, but I was still at home. I was still working and making money. Our business coaching classes were still running it online. I was still making money. So people were like, is the lockdown not affecting you? I could be in my house from morning to evening and not even come out for 3 days. And my neighbor was like, don't you even come out? Say, you come out now. Like, it's not necessary because I even have a whole lot of books to read. I have a lot of work to do. I have clients to attend to. I have a whole lot of alerts that I want to enter into my account, every day. So one thing I want to encourage everyone out there, stop lamenting and start rediscovering, and then activate what lies around you for you to start up that business.
Dennis, let's come back to you right now. Something actually pricked my interest in recent times, since March up until now. If you go on social media, WhatsApp to be precise, you find out that everybody is selling something right now.
Good.
I don't know if you guys have noticed.
Yeah.
If it's not an oil perfume, it is a marks, it is something, or earrings or what have you. Some persons actually had this to say to me, like, in a way, the COVID might actually be a blessing in disguise. Now he's getting the whole youths involved in probably entrepreneurship, or even trying to make ends meet with themselves and of course what they do. Do you subscribe to that?
It's a two-way thing. Like he rightly said, there's a difference between a business person and an entrepreneur. So, and we need to look at what are your consistent behaviors. I think that's the issue here. Are you this type of person who take, is it an impulsive decision? And of course, you agree with me that most of these decisions are impulsive. And so, when things now come back to normal, are these persons
going to still be in business?
Still be in business? I think this has to be the questions we should ask. Fine and okay, some persons will be induced by these events to stay. Why some are really not, they're still going to go back to whatever they were doing before. I know of a lot of teachers, some of my friends whom during this, because I'm in the education sector, whom during this period, of course, they were not receiving salaries and they had to go into marketing of products and all that. And they discovered that they were making more than what the private school owners were paying them.
Okay.
And of course, I have seen friends who said, I'm not going back there. I think entrepreneur is the issue. So, and of course, you see, this is a new reality. So COVID-19 has forced persons to accept a new reality. What they could not do normally, the risk they could not take, they are now forced to take it. You understand? So there are people that will actually have a change in behavior, just like we have a change in consumer behavior. Right now, people, they buy differently. They don't buy things the way they used to buy before.
True.
And that is why businesses that must thrive, and people who must thrive and continue to stay in business must look at the evolution of the consumer behavior as it pertains to COVID-19 and of course the post-COVID-19.
Do you think at this point in time right now, the blame game is no longer a reality where it's all about, okay, government is not doing this, government is not doing that?
I think the blame game, you see, we should be optimistic, and like I always say, we should separate motivation from reality. The reality is that the government has not done enough. Now let's look at the US, for example. General Motors is one industry, one company that actually was so big in the US, and at a point in time, I think it should be is it 2000, that period, within that time,
yes,
they were into crisis due to the recession. And what happened? The US government said we cannot allow General Motors to go extinct. So what did they do? They gave them a bailout fund, and then of course they took a 60% stake
of the company.
It was Obama that did that. Of course, there were a lot of criticism, but of course, General Motors, the employment volume was so large that they couldn't let them go, and they bounced back. You see, so now coming to Nigeria, what are the enabling environment? They are making things tougher now. Now look at yesterday you talked about development levy. There are a lot of such development levies that are even springing up now. Governments are passing it on the people. There is no policies that to actually make most businesses to thrive after the COVID-19. Rather, they are even bringing fear into the system, making people to be scared of you going into it. Because as we speak right now, water resources bill is on the way.
Even after so much clamor, right?
And that is going to affect businesses. That's going to affect businesses. Now, electricity tariff is up. That's going to affect businesses. Whether we call it the domino effect, the cascading effect. Some of these decisions you make, they affect every businesses. You know the funny thing? Businesses will not come out to complain. They will just adjust. And how do they adjust? They either retrench or they fold up. They retrench workers. And when they retrench workers, the unemployment rate is on the statistics of the country, not of the company. Take note of that. And so government need to look at the decisions they make. And like I said, this government of the day have not tried, because of course, Vice President Osibanjo came up with a report of the unemployment rate and all that. We all saw what played out with Access Bank, and more could play out if not that there was an injunction.
An outcry.
Are you getting it now? So these are the issues. Government needs to do more. And some of these are policies, they need to look into them, how it affects businesses in this country.
FX, Akpos, should the policies coming through right now really affect one who really want to thrive in business?
Okay, I would say yes, first. And I'm saying that because the government really needs to do more, you know, as it relates to engagement and encouragement for its citizens. You know, the government, somebody once said, after God is government. So governments are powerful. So if the government policies are not enabling, it will also discourage a huge chunk of people that would want to start up their businesses. Because they would say, what's the need after all? They want to give up. But just maybe like 30 to 40% of those chunk of people that want to start up, that are really passionate about what they do, saying no matter what, we'll still go into it. Those are the set of people that will do. And you understand that government policy has a ripple effect on the society, as it has to do with industrialization. Because if your policies are encouraging in springing up a whole lot of, you know, new businesses coming into the sectors every day, indirectly, it will reduce the unemployment rates, it will industrialize the society more, and it will also engage the youth and also be able to increase the portfolio of the current government. So I think what the government should do right now is see how they can actually shoulder some of these policies and these bills they are bringing up to, you know, kind of shock the common man, let me put it like that, people on the grassroots, because these things are not really affecting them. Let's be honest about
the whole
this.
increment
It's not affecting those in government.
Bourgeoisies, yes.
It's affecting the masses. And the masses are the ones that are, you know, actually facing this hardship. And they are the ones that actually elected you into that office. So you should, in turn, help them to make life a little bit more easier for them so that they can thrive on their own. You don't pay these people a stipend every month. What they do in their businesses is what they use to survive their family, and pay taxes. So I heard on the news, I think a few days back, that government revenue, you know, slowed down over 60% and all that. You don't put that on the people. You don't put that on the people. You understand? Because no matter how it is, you should be able to have, you know, I always tell people this period, no matter what happens, 2020 still has good and better things for you. You don't need to change your goal. All you need to do is change your strategy. And the strategy the government is using right now, it's not a good strategy, I must say, you know, in my own opinion. Trying to re-strategize and removing subsidy and removing this, increasing tariff at the expense of your citizens. When they should take a clue from other governments around the world. I have a friend in the US who has not been working since that lockdown till now, but he's not broke. Still sending his people money here, doing a whole lot of things, and he has not gone to the office to work. Because why? The government still helps to give them a stipend and also try as much as possible to be able to provide things for them that will make their life, you know,
they might want
easier.
to say that they don't have that money, as they have said in recent times right now. The reason why they have also removed subsidy, because they said it's no more visible. They cannot continue doing this because if we look at even the debt profile coming through, I think that's going to be the bane of our discourse on Monday. We're looking at the rising debt profile of the country coming through. They might want to lay credence to the fact that this money no there anywhere to give us. So why should we actually point accusing fingers on them?
You see the way I'm laughing and see. They will always say what they want to say. But is that the reality? Okay. The money is not there, yet looting is going on. Right? The money is not there, and they still pay themselves humongous salaries and allowances. Have they come out to say that, okay, for the fact that this thing is going on, let's slash salaries, let's do this? They've not said that. They continue. They still, in fact, If not for the fact that they didn't even allow them to travel for due period, they were willing to travel and even leave this country and abandon us. You see, so those are just excuses, and that's the issue. The blame game, they started this blame game. You blame past administration, you blame the people, you say these people are lazy. Did you even give them enabling environment? Have you even empowered them? I keep on saying this, Nigerians are resilient people. We are good people. We are hopeful people. And that's why you see that uprising is very difficult in this country. That's why you see that revolution is really going to be a very difficult issue. Because people go say, they manage my life
we
like
can
this.
Adjust almost immediately,
we
right?
We always want to adapt. And I believe that tolerance level we have for this government and we have for previous government is why is the reason we are where we are now. The tolerance level is just too high. There is a level you tolerate people to. You should be able to speak up and say, enough is enough. If you keep pushing this wall, the wall will collapse.
Will more businesses collapse, FX, before we go on that break? Will more businesses, as we see it right now, the realities of time, will more businesses fold up?
Okay, looking at Nigeria, more businesses will fold up based on the current facts of how things are going, and then the hardship is coming because of the new policies that are coming. More business tends to fold up because it's only the dogged entrepreneurs now that will be able to survive. He was making mention about the educational sector. A lot of schools have not been open for a long time. Now look at people that were actually depending on only schools. Other things that they do, they can't, some of them that have only the schools that they usually, take care of. They can't take care of the family anymore. Issues come up in the family and all that, and then before you know, things begin to go haywire. But even if other people that have businesses that the current ones that are not functioning is where they get funds to be able to, fuel those other businesses. How will it be? One is shut down, the other one must go down. And if these policies are now shaking us up in terms of tax revenue and all that as entrepreneurs for us to be able to pay, and we know the clientele are not coming in as they used to be, definitely the responsibility of you being able to meet up with that demand of the current, hike in things and revenue, as it relates to you complying with government policy as the business owner, and you're not able to comply with it, definitely the only thing you have to do is to be able to shut down.
We'll take that break. Now, when we come back, one important point I want to actually get from our guest right here is how we can go around these policies and, of course, thrive in business. When we come back, we'll talk some more.